Selfish ghost.
Yo, what is up? It's bisehd here, back for another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the video about my arm, like I promised in my last video. I want to go ahead and thank you guys again for 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so they gave me this sling, but I don't have to wear it though when I'm home. So I can move it around and I can like do this with my fingers and stuff. Okay, so now for the story. Okay, so on January 27th, I was outside, I was riding my mountain bike, I was on my scooter, I was on my skateboard of course, and I had a little wooden ramp that we made a while ago, and then we had just made it to where it wasn't as steep, and I made a little drop in so I could drop in down on my skateboard. So what I had is I have a driveway that kind of ramps down because I live where it's flat everywhere, so I have no hills. So I put the wooden ramp up at the end of the driveway facing the grass. So I would go down the hill. It wasn't really that big of a hill. And I just went down the hill and I would just jump into the grass. I had done a few runs and I've done it in the past before. Like I even did it on the scooter and the mountain bike. So I would just launch into the grass. But I was putting up the ramps because I was just going to go and bring out my 50. And when I had a grind box out. So I was putting in the grind box and I used the skateboard to put the grind box back in the garage. And then on my way back to go get the ramp, I decided to hit the jump one more time, and that's where everything went wrong. I went to the top of the hill and I started going with a lot of speed, and previously I was doing like kick flips and stuff off the jump, and I was landing into grass. So if you guys know, if you ever jumped a skateboard into grass, you would know that as soon as you land, you sink into the grass. So I had done a few kick flips and I landed a couple, but obviously as soon as I landed I had to jump off. But I was gonna go for a big one, and I was gonna like grab the board and everything. And when I went up the jump, and I started falling down to the left, so I was falling backwards like this. And then I was probably about maybe 3 feet high. I wasn't that high, but my whole body was backwards, like I was laying down. I started rotating. I was about to land on my neck, so I put my arm out like that. So I put my arm out, and then I just don't remember falling. It's just, next thing you know, I was on the ground. I didn't feel anything, so I thought I was all fine. I go up, I look at my arm, and it is just twisted. I'll have a picture of my arm right on the screen right there. But as you can see, it was really bad. And so my parents were outside, so they took good care of me. But I FaceTimed my brother because he's in college right now. And then I was like, I think I broke my arm. So I held it up to him. Well, in the picture, obviously I couldn't hold it up. But so he took a screenshot on FaceTime. So that's how I was able to get the picture. But it was pretty bad, and I didn't feel anything for like the next 30 minutes. After about 30 minutes, I just felt pain just rush into my arm slowly, and it was so painful. I've broken many bones. I've broken a collarbone, I've broken my finger, I've broken this wrist. So this is not my first one, but it was my first time I had surgery. So it was January 27th, and that was a Saturday, and it happened around 4 o'clock, and I've been to urgent care around where I live multiple times, of course. And so we knew it wasn't open for walk-ins, so I just decided to suck it up and wait till the next day, Sunday. So when I get back in, I immediately started icing my wrist, because at first I thought it was my wrist, as you can tell by the picture. So I was icing my wrist, and here's a picture of what it looked like when I iced my wrist. As you can see, I was able to stick a pencil under my arm. That's how bent it was. So I have a bunch of little wrist scars because obviously I fractured my wrist a couple times. So I was gonna try to put it in there so I could go to bed, obviously, because shower was way out of the picture. There was no way I was gonna get a shower. So I was gonna go to bed and I was gonna put on one of my wrist scars because I have multiple ones of them, obviously, because I've hurt my wrist a few too many times. And I literally could not fit my wrist into the wrist guard. So what I had to do was I just got an old one and I had it as loose as it could go, and then I just wrapped it up, and then I just slept like that. I slept with a big old thing around my arm. And then so obviously I woke up Sunday. I did not get any sleep at all. I was in so much pain, and I go into the doctors. They take some x-rays and stuff, and then they come back and they go, okay, you broke your radius and your ulna, which is the two major bones in your arm. It's this one right here and this one. And the one that you see that's like really bent is obviously my radius, and that's connected to my thumb. So I can move my thumb now, but earlier my thumb could not move. Like I thought I was paralyzed. That's how bad it was. And then the other bone was the one that's connected to my pinky. So I had some trouble with that, but it's gotten a lot better. So the actual doctor wasn't there, and he's also the surgeon. So the guy who was there was a nurse practitioner, and then he said that we had to come back in a couple days, and he said that he wouldn't be surprised if I needed surgery on it. And then so he basically just told us that we may need surgery on it, but probably not. They wanted to plate it, but since I'm still growing, they obviously couldn't do that. So if he said anything, it would just be maybe 2 pins. So I was like, great. I've never had surgery before. I have no idea how. I've gotten hurt so many times. So I was kind of a little scared, but then can't remember, he said maybe, possibly, but he doesn't know. So I come back a couple days later for my appointment. So when I get in there, I get in the back of the room, and we're waiting for about an hour, and we're like, what is going on? So first my mom starts getting scared. She's like, oh God, how bad is your wrist? So they eventually come in, and then a different nurse practitioner comes in, and she goes ahead and tells us about how I gotta have surgery. So at first she thought we knew, so it turns out as soon as we left a couple days ago, and in my mind I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna get away, I'm not gonna have surgery, I'm just gonna get it cast. Also, when I was in there for a second time, before they told me I had surgery, they put me in the cast room. I had my cast color picked out. I was gonna do orange because I'm going to Atlanta next weekend. So I was going to be there, KTM orange, but they came in there and told me I had to have surgery. So I was really bummed about that. And so I just kind of look over, and then I think I was just out of it. Like, I literally didn't hear anything else the rest of the day. All I heard was this, I got to have surgery. It was repeating in my mind because I've never had surgery before. So the good news is they said that it'll just be 2 pins maybe, and maybe I can get away with 1. So I have my surgery scheduled for Thursday, and it is early in the morning. I have to get there like 4 o'clock. So obviously I'm not going to be able to go to school for a while, so obviously I had a lot of makeup work. I'm still trying to make everything up. And then before I left, they're like, okay, here's a note for school. And my mom was like, he's been going to school. And they just looked over at me like I had 3 heads or something. They're like, you've been going to school with this broken arm? I'm like, yeah. Because at this time, the first time I went in there, they gave me a splint for my arm, and that was the worst thing to put on. And I didn't take it off the shower or anything. Like, a matter of fact, they didn't take it off until I went into surgery. So I was going to school with a really bad bone, broken in 2 spots, and then I was gonna have surgery Thursday. So I literally, on Wednesday, I stayed after at school until 6 o'clock at night. So I was at school for about 12 hours. So I got there early too. So I was trying to get all caught up so I wouldn't have to miss much, but I ended up missing a lot. So I go in for surgery, and when we're on there, because it never really hit me that I was gonna have surgery, but when we got on the interstate, my stomach just like dropped, and I thought I was gonna get sick. And then I go in there, and I'm just sitting there, and then they call my name, and I thought I was gonna leave, because my stomach was just, I was so out of it. But I just get in there, I'll try to make jokes about it and stuff, because I don't want to think too much about it. And then so I go back for surgery, and then it's so weird because usually when you wake up from surgery, you either don't know where you are, you just cry out of nowhere, or you're like, have we started yet? But when I woke up from surgery, it was so weird. Like, it's like I knew where I was supposed to be in the recovery room, which is really weird. And I remember a nurse came up, she goes, oh, you're awake? Okay, would you like some food? I'm like, sure. So she comes back with popsicles, banana popsicles, so yeah, that was really good. And I had some apple juice because usually they give you Sprite, but I don't drink soda anymore. I just drink water, and well, I haven't been drinking milk, but I've been drinking milk now.
He needs some milk!
So my surgery went really well, and then when I was gonna go to leave, it just started stinging bad, and they just told me that was the pin. So I've had some off and on stings, but a few days later my muscles just started like cramping up bad. And my dad, because my dad's broke so many bones, and so I asked him why, and he said it's just from using them a lot, because the previous semester I was in weight training, so obviously I was using all my arm muscles, and they just went from being used all the time to like not being used at all. So I had muscle cramps, like my arm like spaz out a little bit. It was just horrible. But yeah, now you guys are all caught up, and now there's a glare in my face. And I actually have 2 videos I'm gonna film today, so if you see me wearing the same clothes, that's why. I gotta unbox my Chinese New Year shoes and my drop front shoebox crates, and I'm probably gonna have to move so that glare is not in my face. Okay, so now you guys are all caught up, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and well, stay tuned because I got 2 new videos coming your way, and that sun is really in my face. Okay, bye.